Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
बाबू मोशाई, जिंदगी लंबी नहीं बड़ी होनी चाहिए. This is a dialogue from one of my favorite Hindi movies, Anand. You must be wondering what I'm talking. Well, this is what our next joy is all about: movies.
I'm going to tell you all a nice new game. The game is called Guess the Movie Name. Alright, so the game is very simple. I will try to write a movie name like this. Okay. There is this movie with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Can you guess the name of the movie? Obviously, there are going to be a lot of movies with 7 letters. So I'll give you a hint. It's a Hollywood movie and a very popular one. Can you guess? It's obviously tough. So what we'll do is we'll go step by step. You tell me a letter in the movie. If that letter is present in the movie, I will write that letter in the right place.
E.
E is not there in this movie. Go on.
Sir, take L.
L? L? No, it's not there.
A.
Yeah. A is there as a 4th letter in the movie. Okay.
Sir, take S.
S is not there in the movie.
T.
T is. That should be easy.
Sir, I.
Yes, perfect. Oh, okay. So when I said I should write I here as well. But anyway, now you understand the rules of the game, correct? So let me play another game right now. Okay. By another game, I mean another instance of the same game. All right. There can be space in between two. I will not exclusively write that space here. Let's say, okay. Ten letters. Go ahead.
I.
I is not there.
Sir, take A.
A. No, it's not there.
A is common, so I thought of like taking A.
A is not here.
E.
E is there. In only one place.
O.
I think you guessed it. The moment you think you have guessed it, tell me. Okay.
D.
No, D is not there.
T.
T. T for Tarzan? No, T is not there.
S is there.
S is not there.
R.
R is not there. You're only giving me letters that are not here. Go on.
D.
D is not there.
N.
N is there.
K.
Yeah.
It's a book. It's a book. P. Fall. No, it's not fall. This is a word and this is the 6-letter word.
Hint. It's a very popular Hollywood movie. So popular that everyone knows it. Including a 2-year-old. Maybe a 3-year-old. 2-year-old. Okay, yeah. 2-year-old. From 2-year-old to a 60-year-old, everyone knows the movie. Very popular movie. Remade many a times. Giving hints is not part of the game. I'm just Trying to keep them interested.
S.
No. You know what? No more letters. I think you guys should guess what is the name of the movie. I'm sure all my audience over there who are watching this would have guessed long back. The moment you gave the second word, it's so obvious what's the name of the movie.
So P is there?
P is not there.
C is there?
No. Very easy. So easy that there are very few movies with this second word. Book.
J.
J. Yes. There is there. Jumanji.
Wait. No. Wait.
Jungle.
Jungle.
Jungle Book.
Jungle.
Wasn't that easy? Huh? What was confusing for you people?
I've never heard of this movie. I just guessed it.
You heard of this movie?
No, I've not.
I have heard, but I don't know.
I just guessed it.
IIT students, they don't know what is Jungle Book movie. Anyways, never mind. Just kidding. Okay, last game, and let's get started with some discussion about this game. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Space is there between
No.
two words.
One word.
E.
No. E is not there.
A.
A is there.
S.
Is not there. S is not there.
R.
Yes. R is there.
O.
O isn't there.
U.
U isn't there. Aggressively you should guess. Probably use, huh?
D.
D? No.
M.
M? Perfect.
C.
C? No.
E.
E? No. Again, here audience would have guessed.
T.
T? Perfect.
Matrix.
Okay, so let me ask you people something. Why was it difficult for you people to guess? You see, there are 26 possibilities per slot. Even for a 3-lettered word, there are so many possibilities if it was just 3 letters. Something like 6 letters will be 26 into 26 into 26 into 26. That's a huge possibility space. And people generally tend to think of all possibilities because there's so many movies with 6 letters that you will go on exhausting the list of movies that you have watched. Only one of them will match, and they match slowly. The idea is to probably use vowels first because vowels will certainly be there. Once vowels are there, you can start with A, B, C, D, E and then go till Z, right? But the idea of the game is to guess it very quickly. Now, here's a question for you all. Can you try writing a piece of code for this? Can you program and use a, let's say, audience should, you start the program, a user starts the program, and then there's a random dashes that come, and then the user inputs a letter. The letter is there, it should pop up the letters the way I wrote. If it is not there, it should say letter not found. How easy or difficult would this game be?
It would be easy to code.
Easy to code. How will you start off? What will you do?
I'll take an array of the number and the size of the array will be the number of characters present in the movie name. I'll store the. I'll also.
Now, firstly, don't you think we should have a list of movie names for the computer? Right? It should have a list of movie names from where it will pick a movie name uniformly at random. It should be randomly picked. Once it's picked, it should see what are the total number of dashes. Assume it picks the movie Inception. Inception. Inception is 9 letters. Correct? You should put 9 dashes. And then if the user inputs Z, you should say beep. No, Z not found. If he inputs I, you must go to the first one and then Inception. You have 2 I's. Correct? You should display 2 I's and the remaining stuff should be dashes. You can add in some nice variety to the game wherein you can give them points. You give them 10 points. If they guess it in one go, they get 10 points. Every chance that they take, you should deduct 1 point. That makes the game very interesting. Right? So, can we try writing a piece of code for this? Let's try. So, how does one go ahead and write a piece of code for this? All you need to do is have a list of movie names, as actually a list, Python list of movie names, which you can modify as per your requirements. And then you must randomly put a movie name, assign it to a variable, and that will be the secret word. And the user will start punching in the letters. As and when she punches the letter, it should be displayed in these blank spaces. It should be displayed if the letter is there or not. The idea is to guess the movie name with very few attempts.
You would have seen an interesting game in the last video. Sir has a movie in his mind. He just writes as many number of blanks as there are number of letters in that movie name. The persons who are playing with Sir has to guess what could be the movie he has in his mind. Just telling the blanks is difficult. See, even if you would take a movie name with 5 letters, say, then even for that you have a lot of possibilities. There are so many movies that could be available with 5 letters. So it is difficult for the person on the other side to guess what could be the movie he has in his mind. So he is given a flexibility. The person can say, I assume that this particular letter is present in the movie name. So he can guess 1 letter at a time. So he says whether this letter is present or not. He asks Sir basically whether this particular letter is present or not. A smart strategy would be generally to start with vowels, because mostly vowels will be present in any name. So A, E, I, O, U. With the vowels, if you start, you can open lot of blanks. You can open up and you can guess the movie name. That is the smart strategy generally they use. So for example, if I say A, I want to guess whether A is present in the movie name. So in case if A is present, the person who has posted the question will write A in those blanks wherever A was present in that movie name. In case if it is not present, he would say it is not present. You come up with the next guess of the letter. So this way, by unraveling each and every possibility of letter, you try to guess the movie name. This is how the game goes. Alright, we had just taken a few top rated movies from IMDb, that is the Internet Movie Database. So let us have a list of those movies here first as a part of our programming. Let us have the list of those movies. Let me have it as a list. The first we had was Anand. The second was Drishyam. The third was Nayakan. The fourth was Ande Sivam. So I have taken. The fifth is Golmaal. The sixth one is Vikram Veda. Sorry, it's Vikram Veda. The seventh one is Black Friday. The eighth is Dangal. The ninth is Manichitratalu. And the 10th one is Tare Zameen Par. Tare Zameen. So maybe for ease of users, because we have to switch between caps and small, it will be difficult. So let me make everything in small letters. That's just for our ease. It actually doesn't matter. Maybe you can have all caps or anything as you wish. It's convenient for me if I have everything in small, so let me make everything in small letters. Black Friday, Dangal, Manichitratalu, and Tare Zameen. I have 10 movies. I have taken the top 10 from IMDb. You can take as many movies as you wish, or you can include your favorite movie as per your wish. This list is completely up to you. You can have as many, the ones whichever you wish. You can have it any way as you want. This list is completely up to you. So we have our list of movies. Now let's play. We will start our game. So this thing, if you would see here, it says undefined name play. So you say I want to play, but the computer doesn't know what to be done if you say play. So you have to define what is play. So you are defining DEF play. This is the particular syntax to define a new functionality. If I say play, these are the tasks that has to be done. You are defining it. So we will define what has to be the game. We will define basically what has to be done if someone says play. So here let me say I have two players. As you had seen in the video, there were two players and one person was posing the question. Here let me make it, the computer is posing the question. The list of movies we had given here already, the list of movies. From this list the computer is posting the question. So just that is a change here, and we'll assume that there are two players who play the game. So this is a two-player game basically. So we will have player 1 name. Each will be having a name. It will be good if you would refer them by their name. They'll feel a personalized thing of playing. The personalized play they could feel if you use their name instead of just calling player 1, player 2, X, Y, something like that. You just use their name. It would be good. So I have to input his name. So I input it. To get the input, I should give him a suitable message that please enter your name. So only then he can understand what do I actually expect in this time, and he will give the proper input. So I have to give the message, input message, that is for this particular message, read this message and give your input, something like that. what could I give? I can give player 1. Please enter your name. I have asked his name. The same has to be done for player 2 as well. So let me copy paste it. I'm sorry. I'll copy paste this. Let me copy and let me paste here. The only change here is it's player 2, not the player 1 again. It should be player 2, and here too we need a different variable. That's why there is a warning that appears here, that the same name that there is a warning, as you could see here. This warning appears because there are two things with the same name. P1 you had used earlier, P1 name, the same P1 name you are using earlier. So if I change it, maybe this particular thing will be resolved. And now this warning is because it is assigned but it is never used, but this will be used in the upcoming part of the code. So that would be taken care of, that would be fixed. This particular warning symbol that is appearing here would be fixed as the code proceeds. So let us start off with the next part. So for both the players, initially we will have 0 points. So let me initialize that. Points for player 1 is 0. Points for player 2 is also 0. So I have initialized, and if you would see, we alternate the turns of the players. Like maybe once player 1 gets a chance to guess the movie name, the next would go to the next player. This would be an interesting variant if you would alternate and we see who gets the higher score. Probably there are some other variants you may be familiar with. This is one of the interesting variants that we'll be implementing now. Alright, so to keep track of the turn as to who has to play next, we will have some variable called turn. So let me initialize, let me start the value of turn with 0. So why 0? Nothing special. It is the general practice in computer science to count from 0. You can start from anything. Basically what has to be taken care of is the turns must be alternated between the two players. So player 1 gets a chance now, the next must go to player 2, the next chance must go to player 1, the next must go to player 2, and this chain must be happening. So to take care of that, you can start from any value. Only thing is you have to take care of the strict alteration, that is both must get the chance equally. That should not be the case that the same person gets chance again and again. That should not be the case. So that we have to take care of it. That's it. So for that we have a variable turn. It's just the general practice of computer science to start counting from 0. That's why I have initialized 0. Nothing special. You can start from any value. So let me say the players are willing to continue the game or not willing to continue the game. So this could be the two states. As the player keeps playing, it is a 2-player game, so we need both the players to play. In case if someone is not willing to continue, then the game comes to an end. So to keep track of whether they are willing to continue or not, so I would say willing. I'll keep a variable willing. Initially we'll have that to true because this is the start of the game, so let us keep it true. And as long as the players are willing, you have to play the game. So let me say while willing. While willing. So as long as they are willing, sorry, this could be even set like this, while willing. As long as both the players are willing, you you continue the game. So this is how. Now here comes the actual game, and I said the turn has to be alternated. So say here I have started the value of turn with 0. You may start with any particular value. At the value 0, it is the turn of player 1. At the value 1, it is the turn of player 2. At the value 2, it is the turn of player 1 again. At the value 3, it is the turn of player 2 again. And this is how it goes. As you would observe, if the turn value is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, it is the turn of player 1. If it is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on, it is the turn of player 2. So every even value of turn is the turn of player 1 and odd value of turn is the turn of player 2. How do we keep track of this even and odd values? There is an operator called the modulo operator. What it does is it divides and returns the remainder of division. So to check whether a number is odd or even, you would divide the number by 2 and check the remainder. For all even numbers, dividing by 2 would give you the remainder 0. For all odd numbers, dividing by 2 would give you the remainder 1. So we will use this concept and check whether the particular value is odd or even. So the turn has to be checked if it is odd or even. So let me check. If turn modulo 2 is equal to 0. Why did I use double equal to? Because single equal to is assignment, that is basically whatever be the value, I don't care, just assign this value, something like that. This is I want to check the equality. I want to retain the value and check it with some standard value. So for that equality check, I will have to use double equal to symbol. So if this is equal to 0, that is even value, the turn is even value. If it is even, then when you divide it by 2, you will get the remainder 0. So if that happens, if turn turned out to be even number, then it should be the turn of player 1. Okay, let me write that. It is the turn of player 1. Okay, so we have to first start off by telling that it is his turn. Print player 1's name you have taken, print his name and say that it is your turn. Player 1, this is your turn. Just say him the message. Right. So what should we be doing now? We should randomly pick a movie from this list of movies. There is a list of movies with us. From that list, we randomly pick a movie. So let me say that it is picked movie. Picked movie is nothing but, for randomly picking a movie, you need there is a built-in library called random. We need to import it. Let's import it now. Import random. So this is a built-in library that would be used in order to pick something randomly from a given list or from a given range, something like that. For random selections, this particular library is used. So for picking randomly from the given list, we use a function called choice. It is defined in this random library. So I will be calling it as random dot choice. Within this, I need to pass the list as the argument. The name of this list is movies. So I will pass movies. So basically what this does here, from this list movies, you pick a random choice and assign that to picked movie variable. So you are picking a random movie. This is what is done here. Now, once I have picked a movie, I need to create the question. That is basically I need to give blanks, that many number of blanks. So here I will be simulating blanks as stars. So if the movie contains say for example here in our 6 letters, say Dangal is the movie I had picked. It contains 6 letters. I need to represent 6 blanks. Here I am representing blanks by stars. So I need to represent 6 stars. So I should create the question in that format. So this is my picked movie is Dangal. For that I need to create the question. So I have to create a question here. So let me do that. Let me say you create a question for that picked movie. So that is, if the picked movie has some 6 characters, in my case as I had said, then 6 stars must be present. And in case if the picked movie, for example, say if it is something like Anbe Sivam, Vikram Veda, Tare Zameen Par, these movies have spaces in between. So the spaces must not be encoded by star. Spaces must be retained as spaces, just the letters must be encoded as stars. So this encoding thing I have to do. This thing, let me say I have to create the question. So this is what is the task I have to do. Create a question, and once the question is created, I need to capture the created question. So let me capture it in a variable called question. So I had created a question. Alright. So I have, once the question is created and captured, I need to print it. Print this question. Print the question. And till now, the answer is not yet set. That is, the person has not yet said the answer. So let me say he has not said the answer. Not said. I will have a variable to keep track of whether the person has said the answer or not said the answer. So let me say this particular value is true. Not said is true. Right? So as long as he says the answer, now we need to continue here. So I will say while not said, as long as the person has not said the answer, continue the game. So what should you do? You should ask him to guess a character. So let me take the input character. Let me say it as CH. Let CH be my character. Or let me say letter. That is a better intuitive name. So let me say letter. Letter. Input. I have to input the character. Your letter. An intuitive message, I feel. You can modify this message as you wish. That's never an issue. The thing is, as how the question will be posed and the person is asked to guess whether this particular letter is present in the movie name or not, that is what we are doing. So I'm just asking your letter. Please enter your letter. This is what I want. So I'm inputting that, and I have to check if that letter is present or not. So let me say if that letter is present of that letter in the picked movie. A movie was picked, right? So we have to check whether that letter is present in this picked movie or not. So if this is present, you have to unlock the blanks wherever the letter was present. That part has to be taken care of here. Else, it's a simple thing. So let me complete that first. Then let's come back to this part of unlocking. Else, what should I do? Print his letter whatever he has he has guessed is not found. This is the message to be printed. This is simple. So let's see till now. We input the name of two players. Start with 0 points each. We have a variable turn to keep track of who has to play now, and we have a variable willing to keep track of whether they want to continue the game or they want to quit the game. So as long as they are willing, we have to play the game. We first start with checking the value of turn. Here. If that is an even value, then it's the turn of player 1. Else, so corresponding else, let me write here so that it is not skipped. Let me write the corresponding value. It is in column 9, so I need to write the corresponding else in column 9. It's in column 9 now. Okay. Else, this is the turn of player 2. Okay. So once both their turns are over, what should we be doing is we need to increment the value of turn. That is, this person has played. Now this should be the turn of the next person. So I am increasing the value by 1. Turn is equal to turn plus 1. This is how I have incremented the value of turn. So this is the outline of our play method. We have completed it. It's just an outline. It's a rough idea of how the game will go. Maybe you pause for some time, look into the outline, understand the flow of the game, then proceed with it. Let's proceed with the missing parts here in the next section of this video. Thanks for watching till now. Please watch the next videos in order to completely understand how this program would work. Thank you. Alright guys, till now we have seen a general outline of the game. Let me just give you a very quick summary of what has happened till now. See, these are the list of movies. We have collected this from IMDb top rated Indian movies. When we come to the actual game, when we come to the actual playing part, the first thing we do is we are getting the names of the players. This is just to give a personalized feel to the players. And we start off with 0 points to both the players, and we have a variable. We started off with 0 points to both the players, as you could see here, and we have a variable turn that is used to keep track of whose turn it is. That is, the turns has to be alternated. The players will have to get their turns in an alternating sequence. For that reason, we have a variable turn, and we have another variable called willing that says whether the players want to continue the game or they want to quit the game. So this particular thing, willing, initially I have set it to true because we want to start the game, and during the run of the game the players may choose to quit at any time, and it is a 2-player game, so it requires both the players to be present in the game. In case if anyone says I want to quit, I don't want to continue next, the game totally comes to an end, and the status till now will be displayed at the end of the game. So this is how the game goes, and this is we had started the value of turn from 0. This is just a convention in computer science to start counting from 0. Nothing hard and fast. You can do anything as you wish. I had started from 0, so the turns 0, 2, 4, 6, that is the even number turns correspond to player 1, that is being captured by this modulo operator, and the odd number turns will correspond to player 2. We had given an outline of the game in player 1, so we had started off with this. See, when it is the turn, we have to display that this is this person's turn. So I had given a message, player 1, this is your turn. So something like that I had given a message. We randomly pick a movie from the list of movies we have and create a question out of it. Creating a question is nothing but we would have blanks in the conventional game. Here I am encoding the blanks with stars. That is, in case the movie has 5 letters in its name, then 5 stars will be displayed in place of the letters. And please note that in case if there are spaces, for example, if you would see Tare Zameen Par or Vikram Veda, these movies have spaces in their names. So in case if there are spaces, the spaces would be left as such. Only the letters will be encoded as stars. So in case if I take Tare Zameen Par, 5 stars followed by a space, followed by 6 stars, followed by a space, followed by 3 stars. This is how we need to encode it. This encoding process, let me call it as we are creating the question. So we create the question, we take the question and print the question. We show the question to the player. And we have a variable to keep track of whether the player has said some answer or not. So initially he hasn't said the answer, so I said not said is true. So as long as he says the answer, repeat this. What we do is we ask him to guess a letter that could be present in the movie. And if that letter is present, we need to unlock those spaces, those stars where that letter is present. Otherwise, we have to say the letter is not found. For example, see, if Tare Zameen Par is the movie that has been picked, and if the user wants to know if the letter U is present in the movie name, you could see the letter U is not present here. So I would say U not found. In case if he types letter A is present twice here, once here, once here. So in all these corresponding places, I will unlock, I will say this is A. After unlocking, it becomes star AA, star star, star A, star 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 star, star A star. And spaces would be just spaces. There is no encoding. Nothing but in the previous encoding where all letters are made stars, we would unlock only those places where the letter A is present. This unlocking part has to be done. Otherwise, we will just display the message that this particular letter is not found. Okay, now let us look at the unlocking part. So let me say, after unlocking those letters, we get a modified question. So I will say this is modified question. Let me call this as modified question. To get the modified question, what should I do? I should unlock. All that I need is the previous question or the question that comes during this run, because as you could see, with A unlocked, the user may either guess the movie name or maybe he could require more guesses. Like maybe he want to say I want to unlock more letters. Maybe he wants to unlock if letter I is present, if letter E is present. He may try for various possibilities. So it is not always the case that with just one letter unlocked the user can guess the movie name. So it may happen anything. So I should take the modified question from the previous run. Modified question from the previous run, and the picked movie name I need to have a reference because I need to unlock his choice of letter if it is present. If that letter is present, I need to unlock it. So for unlocking it, I need to refer to the picked movie name originally, and this is his character preference I need to pass. So I need to unlock unlock those letters using these parameters. I need to have an unlock functionality which requires these parameters. So the modified question here and here, the difference is this is the question modified based on the previous run. Say I'll give you an example. Just take the same thing, Tare Zameen Par. If this is the movie, if the user wants to unlock A, these will be unlocked, and now the new question will be star AA star star space star A star 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 space star A star. This will be the new question. This has to be passed and suppose during the second guess the letter he wants to unlock is E, then that CH will carry the value of E, and to unlock E, where all E has been present in the movie, you need to refer to it. So I am passing the picked movie as well. I need this value as well. So this is the modified question based on the previous run. So what will be this particular thing in the first run? So for that, let me store here modified question is nothing but your question itself in the first run. In the first run, it is all stars. During the subsequent runs, the modified question may vary, depends on what are the letters you have already unlocked. Okay, so you have modified it. So modified question is obtained to you. So let me now print the modified question. I have to print the modified question. Okay, print it. The modified question. So I'm done printing it. Now I should say the user has to decide now if he wants to continue, if he wants to guess the movie name with this, or he wants to unlock another character. So let me say this is decision. So D, let me call it D. I will take his decision as a form of an input. I can give him a message. See, press 1 to guess the movie, or 2 to unlock another character, another letter, I could say. So this is once the unlocked, the modified question has been displayed after unlocking a particular letter, he has to decide whether he knows the movie name, he wants to guess it right away, or he wants to unlock another letter. So this particular decision is taken care of here. So once the decision has been taken, in case he wants to say, I want to guess the movie name, if that is we had given, if 1 is for guessing the movie name. If his decision is 1, then you have to collect an answer from him. Answer, you have to input it from him. Let me say, let me give a colon here for clarity's sake. Let me say, here it is. Okay. I need to give a message. Let me say, your answer. I'm asking him to give his answer. So for this, he'll give an input answer. We need to check if that answer is exactly the same as the picked movie name. So I am checking if answer is exactly equal to picked movie. Okay. In case if that is equal, then I would say increase his points by 1. So already his new points for player 1 is nothing but his old points plus 1. This is his new point. So I have increased his point by 1. So I have to let him know that his answer is correct. I have to print that his answer is correct, and I will have to make this not set. I have used a variable not set based on which the game will continue. I have to make it false because initially he has not set the answer, so I had made it true. Now given that he has set the answer, not set should become false. Quite intuitive names I had used so that it is easier to understand the code. This is generally a better practice to name your variables such that it is easy for anyone to understand The code is not just for you. Even if you go work in a collaborative environment in a company or anything, when you work in teams, it may be the case that you would be the one who codes and there may be someone who tests your code, because it's generally the thing is we tend to cover our mistakes. That is the human tendency. We tend to cover our mistakes. So the person who has written the code, if he is given an opportunity to check whether the code is perfect or not, he knows what are the mistakes could occur during the coding process. He would have tested and he would have got some mistakes. He would try to hide that mistake, so the actual quality would not be known to the seniors. So in order to get the actual quality, what they generally do is they would ask another person. There would be another person called the tester. He would be the one who is assigned the responsibility of testing the code. So for him to test the code, for him to give inputs such that you can check through how the flow is, what are all the calculations being done, to check through all that, the code must be highly readable. And when you work in teams, when your particular portion is being used by someone else, or someone else's portion you are using and you are depending on it, it is highly important that your code is properly readable. And to make it readable, one tip that we generally give is you give your variable names in an intuitive manner. See, just as how I have given question, modified question, picked movie, not set, all these are English words that speaks in itself. You need not say for what purpose you have been using this particular variable name. That is quite intuitive. People can easily understand. Just anyone who knows English will be able to understand the flow of this program. In such a way, your coding has to be done. This is a general tip that people used to give when working in teams. So this is a take-home message you need to take here. Alright, let's get back. Not set. Initially, the person has not said the answer, so it was made true. And now, given that he has said the answer, not said should be made false. Not said should be made false. And now I should print him his score. Person's name, player 1's name. I have to print him his score. Your score. Okay, let me say this is points of player 1. So how much has he scored? I should let him know. So this is done. So till now what has happened? We had unlocked the character, we had modified the question, and for modifying the question, we take the modified question from the previous run. In the very first run, the modified question is nothing but the question itself with all letters encoded as stars and spaces left as such. This is the modified question at the first run, and subsequent runs, the modified question will be based on what are the letters you had unlocked in the previous runs. So that is why we are using the modified question in both the places. This is a place where generally the beginners would feel it difficult to understand. Please pause here, try to give it a thought, try to take your sheet of paper, you try running it. As I had said an example, take maybe this particular name, or Black Friday, or Vikram Veda, something like that, with spaces, as well as the name is also lengthier. If you would take something like that, you would get an idea of what all could be the case. Maybe the user wants to guess one character, he is not able to guess the movie just with one character, and because of which in the subsequent run, what should be the expected modified question, you just dry run once, you pause over here, think, understand this fully, then let's proceed to that. So I would recommend that you understand up to here completely. So please give a pause here, understand completely, and once you are completely thorough, please proceed to the next part. Alright, I hope you would have paused and understood the flow till here. Let's continue. And each player must be given a chance whether he wants to continue the game or quit. So that we'll have to ask here. We'll say we are asking this. Along this it has to come. So after he has said the answer. So this loop runs till he gives the answer. After he has said the answer, you have to ask him. So this comes under column 13. So okay, column 13. I should go to column 13. I should ask whether he wants to continue. So for continue, let me use C. This is for continuing. I'm inputting his decision, his choice, whether he wants to continue or quit the game. So let me say press 1 to continue or 0 to quit. Let me say this, and I would see if 0 is for quit. So if his choice is 0, if his choice to continue or not, if it is 0, then I should give him a summary. So let me say, I have to say print player 1, his score you have to print. So let me print his name first. Player 1 name, your score. Okay, I have to print his score. It is points of player 1. Sorry, points of player 1. This is his score. Now I need to do the same for player 2. Let me copy paste the same because it's the same, just that in place of player 1 I'm going to use player 2. I'll paste it and I'll have to change here. See, it's player 2's name, and even here I have to change it. It is points of player 2. And now just a nice greeting message would make it more personalized. So let me have a greeting message here. Thanks for playing. Have a nice day. Thanks for playing. This is up to you. You can give any number of messages as you wish. This is just to give a personalized feeling to the players. That's it. And say, have a nice day. Have a nice day. So this is, we have greeted, and now they are not willing to continue. So this particular thing, this value we had set willing as true, that should be set as false. Willing should be set as false. And make it as false. This is, he is not willing to continue. That is the meaning here. Alright. So let us have a very quick summary of what has happened till now. We have the list of movies taken from IMDb, the top rated movies from IMDb. We have inputted the players' names, initialized both their points with 0, have a variable to keep track of turn, that is whose turn it is, it's player 1 or player 2. Every even turn is of player 1 and every odd turn is of player 2, which is taken care of by the modulo operator. And this particular variable willing is to take care of whether the player wants to continue the game or he wants to quit it. And when the player is willing and it is his turn, to say this is his turn, you pick a random movie, create a question, that is encode all the characters with stars and spaces are left as spaces only. This is how the encoding has to be done. You create a question, print the question, and then this will be the modified question for the first run. That will be clear when we see this particular part. And we have a variable to keep track of whether the user has said the answer or not said the answer. whether the player has said or not said the answer. So initially he has not said the answer, so not said is true. So as long as he did not say the answer, continue it. You ask him to guess for a character. If that character is present, you have to unlock the character, else you say the character is not found. That letter is present or not present. Based on that, you take a decision. You say you have to unlock the letter, or you say that letter is not found. And in unlocking process, what you do is you take the modified version in the previous run. In the first run, it would be all letters encoded with stars. You refer to the actual movie name and unlock all those places where this particular character has been present. You unlock it and that becomes your modified question. Print the modified question, and once the modified question has been printed, the user has two options. He can guess the movie directly, or he wants to unlock another letter. So in case he wants to guess the movie, you say this is the you ask him to answer. If that is the picked movie, say that it is correct, and you increase his points by 1, and you output him his score. And since he has said the answer, this particular value of not said should be made as false. And yeah, here there is a missing case, as you could see. In case he wants to guess the movie name, what if it is wrong? It is not the correct answer. What should we do? That has to be handled. So let's say else, that comes under else part. That is his answer. This is in column 25 and this is also in column 25. See, indentation is important in Python, that's why we were checking it. See, the column 29, yeah, column 29. So in case if his guess is wrong, he wants to say that this is the movie name. For example, if you could take, for example, you can take these two, Drishyam and Nayakan. These two are having same 7 letters. So based on 7 letters, he would have unlocked some character, and he suppose has a feeling. So for example, the letter Y is common in both the things. Suppose he has unlocked the letter Y, he may feel that he could have answered something, but what if that is not the correct answer? So we need to inform him that it is not a correct answer, so please try again. Try unlocking some more characters and try finding the movie. So that part has to be taken care of. So let us print a message for that. Print, let me say, wrong answer. Try again. Sorry, this should not be. Try again. Okay. So I had said that it's a wrong answer. I'm just asking him to try again. So okay. So this part is taken care of here. Now, all right. And in case the letter is not found, we say letter is not found. And once after he has said the movie name correctly, you will intimate him that his movie is correct and increase his points, intimate his new score, and set this particular value of not set to false, because this is the variable we use to keep track whether the person has set the value or not, as he said the answer or not. As long as he has not set the correct answer, this particular value will remain true, and once he has set the answer, this not set must become false. You make it false, and so once not set becomes false, the loop comes to an end. So the game, this particular turn is over. So once it is over, you just ask him if he wants to continue or quit. In case he wants to continue, let him continue with the next thing. In case he wants to quit, you have to say this is the summary of the game till now. You have to display his scores and give some nice greeting message and set this particular value of willing to false, based on which we are tracking whether the person wants to continue his game or he wants to quit the game. So this particular thing you have to set it to false. So this is how the game goes. This is for player 1. Now let's see, the same thing will be there for player 2 as well. So let me just simply copy paste it, but please make sure that the indentation is proper. Let me copy and I'm pasting it here. Please make sure that the indentation is completely proper. Yeah, it's correct. It's in this format. Either these two are in the same column 21. No, this corresponds to this. Yeah, column 17, and this corresponds to column 17. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So yeah, we need not increment. We have to increment the value of the turn. Why? Because after this turn, it must be the turn of the next player. In case he says he's not willing, if someone says I'm not willing, the game comes to an end there itself. Even if they are telling I want to continue, then the value of turn will be incremented, based on which the next player will get a turn. See, if you would see, every value of turn, if it is even number, it is a turn of player 1. For odd number, it is a turn of player 2. We need to alternate the turns, that's why we are increasing the turn value by 1. So initially you will get an even number, then an odd number, then an even number, then an odd number. That is player 1, then player 2, then player 1, then player 2, and so on. This is how the turns are being alternated. Alright, so this is the outline of the game. If you would see, this is the outline of the game. So maybe you can pause here and just see what all has happened, how is the flow of the game going on. And there are something which has been not oh yeah, here is a syntax error. Okay, let me rectify it. I need to use brackets. It's a syntax error. I print the question. Okay, and yeah, the same, since given that I have copy pasted, the same error would have occurred. So I am correcting this. Here I would say there are some warnings occurring here. These names are undefined. So let us define all these things in the next part of the video. Maybe you can pause this, pause it here. You can take a look at the flow of the game. You try to understand how it goes, and then in the next video everything will be clear once we have defined these undefined terminologies as well.